we've learned all about series and parallel circuits, and we're ready to see how our houses are wired.
The model of a house right here. How can we tell whether it's wired in series or in parallel?
Well, we know that when something is wired in parallel, when one lamp burns out or is turned off, the rest of them stay on.
Not only that, but the lights that are still on don't change. They don't get lighter and they don't get dimmer.
Let's try it. Let's turn one of these lamps off and see what happens.
They must be in parallel because in series, all of the lights would have gone out when one was turned off.
Why is it important to have a house wired in parallel?
Well, it'd be really annoying if I was playing on the computer and my dad turned the lamp off and the computer shut off.
Or if I was in my room and my light got dimmer because someone else was turning lights on in the house.
Well, as more and more devices are turned on in the house, the number of charges flowing through the circuit increases. Each device gets just the current that it needs, but the current flowing in the supply wires must supply current to all the devices. If too many devices are turned on, the current in the supply wires is too great and the wires get hot. This is called an overload. The circuit breaker trips and turns the circuit off.
I guess the circuit breaker is in series with everything else. When it is turned off, we have an open circuit.
Why would you want everything in the circuit to turn off?
Because if the wires and the walls get too warm, then you'd have a fire on your hands.
That's right. Now, sometimes an appliance malfunctions and causes a short circuit. That basically means the two incoming wires touch. There's a huge current that runs through because it's bypassing the load. Now, when a short circuit occurs, what happens?
So the circuit breaker opens the circuit so no harm is done.
That's right, just like this. So when a circuit breaker is tripped, you have to first fix the problem, then turn the circuit breaker back on. Just like several wall outlets in a house are connected together and protected by a circuit breaker, so the houses in a neighborhood are also connected together in this parallel circuit and protected by a big circuit breaker.
So how many houses are in a circuit?
Could be as many as 4 or 5.
Does this mean if there's too much current going into a house in the circuit breaker opens the circuit?
That's right. When the circuit is open, all the houses go dark.
Wow, we may be onto something here. But what could cause too much current to go to the houses?
I guess the circuit breaker isn't working.
No, I think it's more of a problem with the wires running to the houses. Maybe there's a short circuit in the wires.
Good thinking.
Why didn't we think of this earlier?
Maybe because the electrical wires in our neighborhood are buried underground. That way, the short circuit could be hidden from view.
This could be tough. Hey, Dr. D, have you had any luck with your train?
Nope. I checked out the power unit on the workbench last night, and it is indeed working. This is really getting puzzling. Wait a minute. Talking about series and parallel circuits reminds me of something else to check on the train.
What's that?
Well, the pieces of track form a series circuit. If one of the lengths of track is not properly plugged in, we have an open circuit. The train won't work. I'll check on that later.
In the meantime, I think we should revise our hypothesis to there was an open circuit somewhere between the power source and the houses across the street.
Well, good luck on solving your mystery. It's almost like you're getting close.